This is episode 257 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel in the spotlight, Manzano.
What else are you doing in the spotlight? I don't know.
You know what? To each their own. Will, what time is it? Hagwood.
It's podcast time.
And Ryan, Gauntlet is not travel friendly. Staniszewski.
Yeah, I just thought about the logistics of if I ever brought a Gauntlet on an airplane. I just don't like the thought of that right now. So,
but on the bright side,
I want to try and play it competitively, but I don't know if I actually want to bring it anywhere competitively.
I was gonna say on the bright side, you can either attach like a lawnmower motor or maybe like a moped motor on it and just ride the Gauntlet to.
That was my exact thoughts. Was yeah. Well, you can just ride it.
That's right. It's aerodynamic. It should be fine. Probably. Well, for everybody who's joining us, thank you so much to our GSP patrons. Right now, we are working on production issues for the current the Heroic Squadron. Pilots are already chosen. Basically, right now, what I'm waiting for is our artist, Wade Pichet. Awesome dude, was delayed in working on the art because of Adepticon. He was promoting his upcoming game, Aerodome. And we helped them with some stuff for that. Super cool. But the residual effects is that we are behind on that. I might have a pivot plan. We'll have to wait and see depending on how things go. But I'll keep you guys up to date. Watch out for a post on Patreon to get some more details there. But today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at... We're going to be ranking pilots. But normally we've done this by faction. On podcast day with a text chain that goes back and forth, kind of double checking what is it that we really want to talk about. And we started at let's do faction rankings. And then it evolved. And with the realization, I was like, well, let's talk more about the ships. And then we realized, wait a second. What if we look at the ships of everything that's available in the current game, but look at them by the number of squad points that ship or those ships cost. So if we flip over to our screen here, obviously if you're listening, we're going to be reading this as we go. So hopefully you can follow along, or that's our goal, is to make sure you can follow along. But you will see that we have 11 categories, 1 through 11. You'll be able to see the faction, what is the name of the pilot, and all that. We are not going to be covering upgrades today. That is for another day. We'll also be able to see on our spreadsheet here, which, by the way, if you want to take a look at it for yourself, exclamation point tracker allows you to look at it live with us if you're looking at a computer, or if later on, just jump on Twitch, exclamation point tracker. It gives you our newest up-to-date document. And if you find a mistake, let us know, and we'll get that updated. But we're looking at this first tab, the all pilots combined. And we're just going to kind of have this conversation. So the best 1-point pilot turns out to be the Nashta Pup, because that's what it costs. And that is the only time we will probably be 100% in agreement today.
Let's go to the other end of the spectrum, Dion.
What?
It is also the worst 1-point pilot.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant the other end of the points spectrum.
Yeah, 11 you also get. Just
there you go. 11 you only get one choice as well.
Just question: Are we just talking about these, or are we grading them like S, A, B, C, D?
Oh, we can do that as well. The plan here is I'll just do it right now. We got columns. And what we'll do is we will assign a name to each column. All right. So we'll go in alphabetical order. I
have a question.
Panic. Yes.
Hagwood before Marzano?
Are we doing every pilot, Dion?
I think we probably do. I don't think we have. We don't have time to do all the pilots. Let's do probably the most prominent pilots. Maybe trying to pick out some of the S tier. Honestly, we're going by we're winging it a little bit today.
Yeah, I like the like your top and bottom picks for each point.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think? Well, let's exclude generics for most of that discussion, but makes sense to me.
Is this just standard, or is this also including extended?
So currently in our list, we have extended in there. I haven't had the opportunity to parse them out, but we should. I mean, what do you guys think? What upcoming events do we have, Marcel?
Midwest scrub, scrubs. I don't know what the actual.
It's a scrub down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miniature market.
That's the miniature market store championship.
Yeah.
And then we got the Richmond Open as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Are they both extended?
No, I as far as I know, everything is standard.
No.
The scrub down is extended.
The scrub down is extended with an asterisk. It's extended, but they are applying the ban list. So extended ships, but ban list upgrades and pilots.
I know Richmond is standard to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lone Star Open is happening again this year. That one, don't know. I'm assuming I'm basically assuming standard unless noted otherwise.
Right. Then I think we stick with standard. We could talk about notable things and extended as we go along. But let's go ahead. Obviously, we said 1 and 11, pretty easy because there's only a single pilot in each. And one of the things we've been talking about when we're talking about list building is the value that specific pilots give you at each of the point values. So we're going to go ahead and open up what I think is the most talked about point value, I think, in X-Wing squad building is 2 points. Why do you think that is, Will?
It's easier to fit a 2-point ship into your squad. You don't have to, say, cut corners. You can just slot one right in. Or in the case of having, say, multiple initiative or multiple 2-point ships, a lot of the times you might value them together as a single, like, 4-point entity. Mm-hmm. But basically, just the flexibility of being able to slot one into almost any list just can get you so much value out of them.
Yeah, and one of the things I do want to note here about these 2-point pilots, none of them have any loadout. You're not allowed to put on anything, but that does mean, of course, we kind of prefaced it earlier, that the named pilots generally will have, they will have more value over the generics just because if you need a 2-point thing, the ability is essentially a bonus. Would you agree, Ryan?
Yeah, in this case, you're looking for the value that they have. And AMG decided to say, hey, we're going to give it to you via a singular named unique pilot that is going to represent your 2-point ship, minus a couple outliers that also have 2-point generics, which we'll get into. But yeah, the ability a lot of times is just a cherry on top, but some of their abilities have uses. And the more you can take advantage of them, the better.
All right, Marcel, who do you think out of all the 2-point pilots is like the top dog? Obviously, we're mixing factions right now, but if you have like a standout, who's the ace out there?
Out of this particular group, I would. It's a tough 2-way tie for me. Actually, 3-way. So you've got Contrail, Night Beast, and Derek. All three of those, I think, are S tier. If I was grading them S tier, those are the three that I would highlight as S tier 2-pointers. Because again, Contrail, Initiative 5, 3 agility, does get to choose, gets a little bit of agency per se, because you get to choose between the title, Asbesh or the other one. And the ability is pretty good. It's basically with a target lock, it's kind of like advanced optics. Derek, same thing. He gets a system phase thingamajigger. I don't even know what his ability is. I never used it.
If you spend a lock or acquire one, you can shred a stress.
Okay, garbage.
Shred a
How often do you take locks with your hobby? Never.
Well, when
Well,
Char
you have a
raised-
tracer.
yeah, when the
see,
tracers,
you could have been clearing hobby stress the whole
He was
time.
never stressed.
Well, that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, and then Night Beast again with getting a focus evade almost every turn makes him be extremely good at action based 3 agility focus evade every time. Just a really good carrier. All 3 of those are really good carriers of mission objectives. There's a bunch of A's, but anyway, those are my 3. I don't know if there's one better than the other. And if I had to throw it out there, I would probably go with Derek as number 1, but the other 2 are still S for me.
You would still consider the other ones S? All right, cool. Is there any arguments on the S or any additions to the S?
I really like how you identified that Derek and Contrail technically have upgrades. And Derek has 2 different options of ship upgrade or ship chassis ability, and Contrail actually has 2 different options of an additional ability than his regular pilot. I don't think. Oh, you know what? I think then honorable mention the Trade Federation drone, because you can still get independent calculations. You can still get grappling struts for that 2 points.
Just the grappling strut.
Do they not have
No,
a mod
you can do
slot?
both. You can do
Oh, you can do
independent
both?
calc. They get a mod and a config, but that isn't.
Okay.
I don't think that puts them into S tier just because.
No,
they
there's
No,
no grappling
I'm just notating that it is unique, I guess, that a couple of them can take upgrades outside of their, even though it says they have 0 loadout. That's not exactly true for a couple pilots. But yeah, I don't know, man. I do think Derek is number 1 in my opinion. He'll be my only S. And then Contrail and Night Beast and Blount probably. I do love Rebus, but honestly, I think my 3rd would be the Trade Federation drone.
Okay. I like that.
It's a love-hate relationship, but what they can do is pretty impressive for 2 points.
Isn't there? No, there's another 2-point separatist, isn't there?
Oh, very sadly, only the generic.
Oh,
Trust me, I wish a named one was 2 points, and the generic. I don't care about generic. Like, give me DFS 311 to throw calculates to my friends for.
yeah. I think they
I mean, I don't know.
overvalued the grappling struts a little too much. I think that's probably
When they
why
got rid of
punished.
the barrel roll off, the inability to barrel roll with the vultures and the grappling struts. If you either commonly played against vultures or played them, and you have not yet tried or seen someone try to play with the grappling struts, it is so much more limiting now not being able to barrel roll.
That was
either
so
still
good.
on the obstacle or
so
barrel
good.
roll off it. It was
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a big deal. It was
It was 1 point collision detector. We're like, oh, is that a rock in my way? Not if I barrel off of it. There isn't.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I
Too
think I got
good.
major disagree on the Trade Federation drone.
What letter you
okay.
putting out there, Stanny?
For the Trade Federation drone?
Yeah. He's like, I gotta dig in the alphabet for this one.
See, let's see. I mean, sure, it can have grappling struts. I mean, so literally one of the, I've had a separatist list where I just had 2 points left, and you know what? All right, I'm gonna throw the drone in here. In certain objectives, he's gonna do his job and he gets points. And the few games I tried was Assault on the Satellite Array, and I put a rock right next to it, and I said, that's your rock this whole game. You stay there and you get that objective. That is the one good thing it's been good for. I've named him Peter because I name it after in Deadpool 2 It's the X-Force is Deadpool's team, and that's the regular office guy that signs up for the X-Force team is named Peter. So that's the culture. But I think I alluded to earlier some of the pilots in this 2 point that do have abilities that actually can be maximized. Contrail's ability is potentially really good for turn 1. A lot of ships are doing straight maneuvers, right? In Contrails, while you defend or perform an attack, if the bearing of your revealed maneuver is the same as the enemy ships, which is is it a straight? Is it a right bank or left bank, or is it left turn or right turn? Well, straight is just straight. There's no left or right, so you can't get that wrong. And then you may change one of the enemy ship's focus results to a blank. So that can have some pretty good consequences, especially even against other force users too. So if they're either attacking you or you are attacking them, you can nullify some of their focus turns to hits or crits, depending on if they have an upgrade like that. So I think for me, Contrail's S tier, Derek's S tier, Night Beast's close. I definitely like Night Beast, and it's not only just being focus evaded after you're carrying around the salvage crate, as an example. He's really good for that. Mm-hmm. But also going up to a scramble objective and just I have the focus now and I can action. So I'm not out my modification defensively or offensively. Most likely defensively, you just want to stay alive. So yeah, I think those are my Night Beast S or A. No boost is sad. I think I'm gonna do Night Beast at A though, because I like boost. You get cheap boost. That's what gets you S tier at that point for me.
I like it. Yeah, I'm also on the Derek Clivian S. At first, when I take a look at this list, my brain went immediately like, oh, Blount, 2 points, value. I think one of the problems, though, is the game has changed, right? So if we were still one forwarding to victory, Blount at 2 points sounds amazing. But a 2 point as a filler, if that's all you have left, it's okay, but you probably want the A wing over that. The value seems better than that. So I can't give that an S or even an A. I think for me, just to throw it out there, I think that Blount is B tier. Marcel doesn't agree. But hey, listen, this is my time. Okay? My time. And I think he's a B for still my baby, but not the best. Okay? So one of the other ones I had been looking at is... where was it at? I lost my list here. Ahav. All right. I've flown a couple lists with Ahav, and I think the value of Ahav is going to be completely dependent on the meta, right? Because of how the ability works. If you're not familiar with Ahav, essentially, if you're firing against a medium or large base ship, it becomes a three attack dice ship. And obviously being able to go onto rocks and things like that is pretty awesome. But it's dependent. If the Gauntlet and the Razor Crest become a thing in the next few months, I think Ahav value goes up. For right now, it's a B for me. Right now, it's a B for me. Mind you, it's filler. It's not going to win me any games, but it's going to be all right. Contrail, I definitely agree on your S tier. I don't have an opinion on the Trade Federation drone right now. Marcel, you saw me put Blount at B tier, and I got a head nod out of you, or sorry, head shake. Why? Why are you shaking at me, man?
Because he's really good. He's you say that they're no longer in the 1-4 to victory, but they are in. His ability triggers way more often now, and he is the only pilot in this entire list that consistently gets 3 attack dice. Nobody else gets 3 attack dice, and it's consistent because usually he's in a list that has 5, maybe 6 ships. Because you're digging into the 2 points, 5 or 6 ships, and again, because of the way that missions work, There's always a scrum. There's always something. There's always something for him to do, and it's usually putting out a lot of damage. So I think he, the very first part of the conversation when we were talking about 2 points versus, why would you even use the 2 points? And Ryan and William said a couple things, basically because in this example, Derek and Blunt, that's 2 attack dice and potentially 3 attack dice, 3 agility and 2 agility, and 4 health and 4 health, 8 health. Name a 4-point ship that gives you those numbers. Shoot twice with 2 and 3 attack dice, and basically have 8 health and can pick up multiple objectives at the same time or contest multiple objectives. When I say multiple, I mean,
Ibtisam, Yark 170, pretty close.
With 1 agility, 9 health. Shooting twice only if you have like the right things and right conditions, and it melts pretty quick. And it's only contesting 2 objectives in the, he's got to be like in the exact same spot between cameras over there, in the same spot between like the 2 objectives and stuff like that. In most situations, if you have 4 points left, it's Derek and Blunt over any 4-point option that's out there, unless you're specifically trying to pull off like some type of combo wombo thing.
So then, do you still
it's an A for me?
Okay, there you got to my answer. That was
yeah, and I'm gonna downgrade Night Beast to A as well. He's not at V or Derek's. He's not a Contrail or Derek level.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I would have gone as far down as low as B for Blount Dion, but I've definitely been, the more I've tried things in Rebels, the more I've wanted Blount to be something else. Even though if it might cost me 1 more point and shuffle things around, I'd rather have Aaron, well, other ones we'll get to, Aaron Kraken in the Z95.
Yeah.
If you haven't looked at his loadout available, he's got a Torp and some serious amount of points available. Pretty nice. There's Ezra TIE Fighter, who we know have seen amazing Leia crew carrier and arguably a better Night Beast, but obviously is worth a point more because Ezra has Force. Very good. So it's not as easy for me to just automate. Like, so Marcel, if I'm building a list and I'm at that spot where I have those 4 points left and I haven't gotten any of my 2 fillers in, right? No Derek or no Blount yet. I would probably put Derek in there and maybe look around the rest of my list before just slotting Blount in there right away and seeing like, what might I be able to get more out of by dropping one thing to get Ezra TIE or get Aaron Kraken or something else. But those are 2 that stand on my head as stuff that I've tried to swap Blount for.
All right. So is there any other notable, actually, wait, can't go. Marcel, why haven't I seen you playing the autopilot drone?
Because I'm not playing the YT-1300. I actually think he's a pretty good buy at 2 points. Because with the average round going 5 points, if he is docked in turn 1, he doesn't lose a system. He doesn't lose a charge in turn 1. And then if you let him out in turn 2, he doesn't lose a charge in turn 2. That means he will not blow up until turn 5. So he is in your list. He is a viable coordinator in your list for 90% of the game in most games. You're not going to get a 2-point coordinator out there with a gun. And you can also just basically throw him on there and be in the mix. Say, I'm going to contest this. If you want to kill me, great. You're going to take a crit for killing me.
So you're saying the problem is the 1300, not the value of the drone.
That you can't, if you start him without being docked, that means he dies at turn 3.
3, yeah.
And so he only gives you around 50 to 60% of the game, which again, there's still value because he's basically he's a walking trajectory simulator that coordinates. So there's still value. He can go on there and contest. He can basically, if you light him on one side, and people will try to ignore him and fly away from him. So there's a little bit of value. If you've got 2 points and you have a Hav and you're like, I got 2 points, I can't do anything. Like, he's still value. But yeah, if the YT 1300 was there, he would be an extremely good buy at 2 points because
All right. Well,
he's basically there for the whole game.
I'm gonna. Before we go on to 3, I'm gonna make you give me a letter for that one. What's the letter? Autopilot drone. Boom.
See.
All right. Let's move on.
Wait, I want to do the worst pick.
The worst. All right. What do you?
Let him do the worst
it's-
pick, and I feel like we've left out a pretty good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my worst ones. What?
Who's in the dumpster? Will.
Oh, I know who it is. It's R1J5. Oh boy.
You don't think
Bucket.
it's Nadrew?
Nadrew? What? He shoots a 3-dice gun, baby.
Or you know what? Wait, we're not talking about generics, right? Does it say the
Nah,
Obsidian TIE Fighter?
Right.
Okay, well, Obsidian is just second Night Beast, which is
Sure.
terrible. No, Nadrew, go. You send him down the neutral edge. Go find an objective. Try to score 2 points, buddy. I think he's got a lot of value. No, Bucket. Man, Bucket, so bad. I wish he was better. But without being able to slam and tow, and without being able to take something that you could slam and score an objective outside of assault, he just doesn't pull his weight. Blocking means nothing. Well, not nothing, but blocking is not as impactful anymore, which he would have been one of the best blockers at 2 points. But not anymore.
And I think I want to give an A to Lieutenant Revis. Even though it's just an FO, I won FO, so you likely will be moving first and doing your actions first. But also, it is, I believe, one of the only, if not the only ship that can get double mods outside of being coordinated with this ability. As long as something gets a red or orange, or is it just red?
After a ship at range 1 to 2 gains a red or orange token, if you do not have that ship locked, you may acquire a lock on that ship.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously, still having 4 health and 3 agility, still very, very good. No boost, sad. That's why you're in A tier for me, not the S tier. But I mean, having that last final shot when everyone else has spent their tokens, most likely, and say, if you did the bump stress focus or you did a linked action, like, I got a lock on you, I probably took a focus. Got some good chance to actually punch some additional plink damage or finishing damage.
I literally have never known that his pilot ability says if you do not have that ship locked. Why do they need to say that?
Maybe for other lock triggering effects. It's probably something outside of Revis, but I don't know.
If you had some type of like tech that allowed you to like jam something when you lock it, that would prevent, like, if you could put false transponder codes on a Revis, that would make it so that you couldn't do it.
Could if you had Tarek Zai, but that's some crazy stuff right now.
Right? That's anyway.
Ooh, false transponder. Well, yeah, nice. I like it.
Love it. All right. Well, let's. Oh, sorry. Was there anything else for 2s? Are we ready to move on? Whoosh. All right. Here we go. Obviously, as we get towards the middle, the list is going to get significantly longer. There is a ton of 3s here. So what I did is they're currently in order from, these are all the 3s, highest loadout value at the top with 16. The lowest loadout value at 3 that we have is in fact 0 on a couple of the modified TIE fighters, the Mining Guild TIE fighters. They're at 3, and the first non-generic that has the least amount of loadout points is Scorch, with having only 3 loadout. So here's a question, a conversation I want to have with you guys. When I was building this out, the question that came to me was, when we're kind of looking for that S tier, is the first thing you should look at saying like, hey, look, obviously DFS 81 gives you the biggest value number-wise, 16 against the 3-point squad point value. Like, is that how we should be building lists, or how do I balance that versus ship abilities?
I use that as the base, but then I kind of work myself backwards from it. Like I use that as a starting point. Like, is this the most value per point? But then what is it natively, and then what is it? What do those points get you? And in the DFS example, it gives you a hull shield and a missile. Hull shield concussion missile. That's a 5 health. That basically 5 health. It's 4 health, 4 health, 1 shield, and concussion missile. You don't fit anything else. That you're kind of maxed out there because they only give you those 3 upgrades, and you can sit on a rock. So it's great. The ability, I don't even know what the ability is. What is the ability? Like, you get to toss tokens around, I think.
You spend a calculate to cancel a crit.
Yeah. That.
No, well,
that
sorry.
is
You change a
extremely
crit
helpful.
to a hit.
No, you change
technically.
all
crits to a
to
hits.
So
when a
that is
friendly ship at 0 to 1
helpful.
defense, so it's not just itself; it's also friends.
Itself, yeah. So that is extremely helpful in at least one. It's helpful in every game, but it's extremely helpful in one of the missions, scavenge or whatever, whichever the tow one. But it's still a Trade Federation drone in a faction that is got other options that are better at the same point cost. Bombardment drones, for example. I would take all 3 bombardment drones before I start reaching for that for Doofus here.
Now, Ryan, I want to go ahead and give you first pick here. Where are you? Give me some S tier 3-pointers. What should I be looking at?
I think probably the best performing and standout 3-pointer that's almost a staple in every single squad in this faction, Barris in Republic. I think that's the only one that immediately comes to mind, is that this is, because there's a lot to parse through here.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Barris Offie from the Republic is the standout 3-cost ship. I think it had with Contrail in Republic and Barris, I don't know why you wouldn't start every single Republic list with those 5 points right there. Like, boom, done. Here's my 2 filler. It's I5 that gets to boost and go fast. Here's my 1 force, still good, Jedi, that normally would just have CLT, has now gained a missile slot and has enough loadout to take what is commonly the loadout of concussion missiles and instinctive aim. So even if you don't have the lock, just don't spend your force, have a focus, mod that way. And for people who have been looking at lats can get you the rerolls on that shot too, if they have fire convergence. It just requires the fire convergence is helping a shot that isn't a turret shot.
Will, what about you? What's your standout S?
Ooh, it's Gamut Key in the Hawk 290. He's got enough loadout to have variable loadouts between bomb slot, crew slot, and the talent, I think he gets the talent too, but the illicit slot He's fairly customizable. Plus, has an easy way to get a coordinator on board. And when you combine that in with his ability to have ships hold on to their round tokens, he can as well be coordinating from that. And let a ship keep its, say, a focus token before the next round of combat happens. Like, say, you freeze it the first round, they can go into the next round with that token. Just a extremely valuable support piece, in my opinion. Plus, you still get the Hawk chassis, the turret, the 5 health, the beautiful action bar. I just think there's a lot of things you can do with him, which is kind of what I'm looking for in a 3-point or a cheap ship. I want sometimes versatility instead of just a rigid loadout. I think a lot of people get stuck in like a single loadout, if that makes sense. So, big shout out to Gamet Key.
I like that flexibility. For me, actually, Ryan, you mentioned the pilot that I was looking at here for the 3-pointers is Ezra in that TIE fighter. The single fact that it has the crew slot is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Being able to take Leia crew on a 3-point TIE fighter that can move, evade, and force every turn. And we know that the value on that is extremely high. So for me, I'm gonna go find me an Ezra here, and go slap an S right next to that name. Now, what about you, Marcel? I see you're kind of plugging away here with your pilots. What's a notable S tier that you want to tell the people about?
Well, I think the most obvious S tier is the Delta 7, not the B. Barris Ophi is the most obvious S tier. And so, anyway, if you're only asking for one, that's the one. I probably have one that nobody else will think it's an S tier, but for the points given, I consider it a S. Never mind. Actually, it's not an S. I can change my mind. I had Psi, but I thought it was a Psi T70, not the Psi Resistance Y-wing. Never mind. That's not an S tier.
he backs away very slowly. Barris.
Yeah.
I will give the people another one. Give them another hot tip. Zyrtec Strom.
TIE X1 for the points. Zyrtec Strom can either have fire control system and hull upgrade, so that's a 3 health, 3 shield. I mean, that's a 2 health, 4 health. That's 6 health total. 3 agility and fire control system on there, with a pretty decent ability. But I like him with tracer missiles and fire control system. He becomes a very efficient coordinator, and then the tracer missile that he shot off to acquire the target lock actually gets usage towards the end of the turn as well to get an additional crit in there. So for me, Zyrtec is, and I see
so
Ryan is B on there, but
so proud of you. Zyrtec. You dropped those interceptors and went to the X1s.
Anyway, so what I say, Barris and Zyrtec.
All right, well, let's go to the other end of the spectrum here for a second. Ryan, is there a pilot that you say that you look at and you ask, why is this 3 points? I know that we're not quite at that extreme yet, where it really makes you do a double take. But what do you think one of the worst 3-point pilots is right now?
So outside of generics, I would say Why is TN 3465 the TIE FO that says you can hurt me to change your friend's stuff to crits? Just make it a 2-pointer. It's gonna just go in and do objective things or focus and just die anyway. I don't know. Never gonna see play at 3 points because there's so many other TIE FOs that are just drastically better. Static, Scorch,
Right.
Long Shot, Malrus. The list is actually pretty impressive for the TIE FOs. There are a lot of them I put good grades on here, but Tina, no. Yeah, make it a 2. Zero loadout. Won't matter. Might actually consider taking her.
Brutal. What about you, Will?
Captain Rex. Somehow, Captain Rex, who is one of the well, actually, all the TIE fighters, Rebel TIEs, are 3 points. Most TIE fighters are 3 points. Turns out. But Captain Rex not only does not have a missile and boosting abilities like Sabine, does not have the crew or force of Ezra. Zeb also gets a crew, I guess. So Captain Rex does get a mod and 2 talents. Cool. I guess you could slap afterburners on him and boost a couple times, but Captain Rex probably should have been Rebels 2-point ship instead of Hobby. It's kind of absurd. You're never gonna buy Rex over Ezra.
No, never.
So it's, I don't know. Yeah, for if anybody, honestly, most of them look pretty good, or like equal. You know what I mean? But yeah, Rex is by far the worst named one.
Marcel?
Are we saying garbage?
Garbage. What's in the garbage?
Let's see. I've got BB-8 resistance pod garbage.
Even with that little movement ability, is it just Will was shaking his head. I'm just trying to help this little robot out.
He's garbage.
He does have Sister Phase boost, which is pretty good. If that ship had decent blues.
He's got no blues. He's got 2 health, 2 attack dice. He can only calculate. I guess the only benefit is that you can throw a crew on there and have him be some type of support. But if you're doing that, why are you not taking Rose?
Yep.
Or something better? He's just garbage. Yeah, I mean, just consider like AP5. Like AP5 does a billion times better what BB-8 wants to do in terms of being like a support ship.
Right.
Yeah, he's just garbage.
One thing I want a quick shout out here at Lambolo
Oh,
in the
and I
chat.
got BB-8 right here, and so I am saying it to his face.
Lambolo asking why did FFG have to do Captain Rex so wrong? I don't know. I'm surprised how bad all of Captain Rex's abilities have been in X-Wing. It's pretty terrible. Like there has not
just
been
an X-Wing though too. Like he's really good as a commander in Legion too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. He's best showing I think in all of the FFG AMG Star Wars games right now is Legion, which makes sense, right? He is a ground trooper commander guy, so
You're right.
it would have been better to have a nice crew or gunner instead of the if bullseye this and this that and this and that gunner version of Rex right now to get a focus.
You AMG, make it right. Make it right.
Make a crew. Make a better crew.
Make another one. They can do as many as they want. Just put a dot next to it. That's all you got to do. That's how we fix it. All right. For myself, garbage crew, like going to the bottom here. I honestly I was looking at BB-8 for mine as well. We already, of course, said that the generics are a bit of a problem. I think just after a quick look through, I think most of the garbage we found with what we've said. One of the pilots I did want to talk about here is Shara Bey. Shara Bay, I think, is a good value pick, just because of what she can be. Like if you have 3 points instead of 2, and you want speed, you want that A-wing feel. I'm leaning towards Shara Bay, and for me, honestly, I think she's more A tier than she is B tier for me personally. Just the ability to hit pretty hard. Obviously, she synergizes with any type of target lock abilities, which Rebels have quite a bit of. I'm a fan of Shara Bay at 3 points. Will, you got any notable 3-pointers you want to shout out?
Ooh, actually, a pair of them. And that is to FO the TIE FO fighter, Scorch, who I'm surprised is only 3 points, but he does have like a really small loadout. You had to choose basically between like Crackshot, Predator, or like Fanatical, I guess. But then, in addition to Scorch, who can be stressed for an extra die, that's an easy 3-dice gun. And I don't think we saw... None of these ships have a native 3-dice gun, right? No way none of them have a native 3-dice gun. But technically, Scorch does, if he takes the stress.
None completely out of all of the 3s, because the Interceptors do. The Alphas.
The
you're right,
Alphas. Well, there you go. Big shout out to the Alphas as well. But my other foe fighter was Static. I lost him here for a second. Yes, Static, because he has enough loadout to take an ion cannon, which is basically a 3-dice gun. So those two really, I think Static needed the cannon. I think we could all agree with that. But to get those extra attack dice, in addition to being 4 health on 3 agility, with decent initiative, both of them are initiative 4. That's a pretty good pairing for the FO faction.
And you got room to take Proud Tradition, so even when you do red maneuvers, you're still modded.
Yeah, Static redeemed in the loadout version.
And if you somehow, because I've seen people not only run the ion, I think the ion cannon version is more consistent. But if you want the
run
more
Auto Blaster, if you want
the Auto Blaster marksmanship one for the look, if you can get the Static thing to work, it's gonna hurt.
Right. Now, one of the 3-pointers that I do want to talk about, which I've seen quite a bit of locally, is the is it Storm Squadron? Yes, the Storm Squadron. This is something that I've seen quite a few people try out. Is the I see, Marcel, you're giving me the switch. I have them switched or something.
Yeah,
No, they're both the same because the Storm Squadron is only if people are trying to fly like all I3 and they only get fire control system. But I think the more consistently used is the Tempest, which is the initiative 2 that comes at 4 points of loadout, which gives you a hull, and that gives you a 6 health TIE X1. So
yeah, one of the few generics I can support is the Tempest.
Yeah, the TIE X1, the Tempest gives you the hull upgrade, which tends to be more valuable in this fast-paced game that ships either die or you ignore and don't kill.
Okay, there you go. Again, I've only, when I said I've seen it, I've played against the Storms. I haven't had a chance to take a look at the Tempest, but that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we'll hit those at 3. Ryan, a notable 3-pointer.
2 quick ones. Click. Take R3 Astromech. Block 2 of your important pieces on your list. In first turn, you have some other stuff. Do the necessary objective things, and that is what we're seeing a lot of lists feature a couple of heavy hitters. And when you nullify some of their range 1 heavy hitting, it's actually pretty good at keeping yourself alive. Click gets into a spot where Click can then lock those heavy hitters pretty good. You still got room to take a bomb. And then, as Marcel alluded to earlier, one of the notable 3 points in Separatists is the Hyena bombardment drone. Those things can be loaded out with some pretty good mines. The forward drop makes opponents really think about how they approach your list, because those Hyenas could just go in a general zone where there's an objective, not even do the objective action, and just say, I'm here. If you want to come get this objective, you're going to have to take a bomb. They provide a very different kind of zone threat. And because they're Hyenas, they have that 5 health. I prefer to keep network calculations. I'm not running them super tight. They're kind of an amoeba. Like, they'll kind of link to each other sometimes so that I can scenario with one and then help with a calc from another.
I like it. Did everybody give theirs? Did I miss somebody? Marcel, you're notable.
You know, give me my notables. So I'll just do 2. Actually, Brian stole one of mine, the bombardments. So I'll move on to just the Naboos. I'm not going to say specifically handmaiden or LRB. It could be either one of the 2. But you know, the problem is that they're in a faction that just has so many better options. But you put the Naboo Starfighter in any other faction for 3 points, and they're just really great. You know, the amount of loadout points that they get allows them to carry torpedoes, allows them to regen and free evade every single turn. Really great objective getters. And then the other one that I wanted to give a shout out to was good. Where was it? I think. Come on, give me 2 seconds. Which one are you? I scrolled up for a second. Let me see.
By the way, somebody somebody just deleted this pilot's name. Not sure who it is. If somebody wants
Which
to
one?
control Z. I think it was one of the handmaidens. There we go.
That's probably me. I was the only one that was touching the handmaiden, so there you go. And that didn't sound right. Okay, get your hands off my maid. The other one, the other noticeable.
Dig the hole.
Ah, no, ain't no digging no holes. The other shout out notable is Commander Maurus in the TIFO. It's Initiative 5, and the ability has 2. That is not. I see head shaking. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong screen. Not head shakings. So anyway, Initiative 5, 2 charges, and basically is 1.0 glitter stem. And with enough points to throw a cluster missile on there. So you can either use it to double mod both of your, double mod your first shot and still get a mod on your second shot at Initiative 5. Or if you're going to just zoom out there and get a mission point, you know, get an objective, just have glitter stemmed your entire turn. And it's at the start of the engagement phase, so you don't have to burn it without knowing. You have to be like, well, I'm going to go out there and sacrifice myself. And if nobody takes the bait and they're all pointing the same way, a different way, then you can just kind of bank that one for later. So amazing. And I don't think it even gives you stress, right? So it's not even glitter stem. It's better than glitter stem.
Yeah, it does give you stress.
It does give you
does?
stress.
It's
Oh,
exactly
okay.
glitter stem.
Okay, good. Well, still, glitter stem was so good, and it's still good. Now you get 2 charges with glitter stem.
All righty. So there you go. Those are some notables, some good, some bad, some ugly at the 3-point range. Let's go ahead and collapse there.
Can I
Will?
segue for a second?
Oh, let's do it.
Okay. Well, no. Proceed on. We're proceeding on to fours.
We're proceeding on the 4.
I just want to note all the great things we said about high initiative TIE FOs. 4 health, 3 agility. Some of these were carrying Scorch basically as a weapon. Malorus has missiles. We talked about the cannon on static at 4 points. The M3A interceptors. Oof. Even what would it be? Gargle, I believe. Oh wait, these are sorted by loadout. Oh no, I don't know how much loadout they have. Search.
Yep.
It didn't work. Oh wait, it kind of did. Anyways, even Enoldra and Lighten here get 10 points of loadout. But in my opinion, not even competing with 3 points of the foe. Sad day for the M3A.
So are there any? What's the highest rated at 4 points? What would you say is the highest rated M3A?
At 4 points?
Is there anybody who gets out of the dumpster?
I mean, probably Lighten, Ashara, being able to take a snapshot, I believe, still. Let me confirm that she's got a talent. Yeah. So you can take snapshot, I guess. That's to get free evades or do damage. That's okay, I guess. Quinn Jest might be the best one. Quinn Jest with regenerating afterburners or burnout thrusters. You can go fast and get some objectives every round. Still though, and I mean really not as good as similarly costed things. Man. Now I think some M3As are good, but certainly not any of the 4-point ones.
All righty. So let's go ahead and let's start by hitting that S tier. All right, as we jump into this 4-point. We talked about M3As. M3As seem bad. Ryan, what's some S tier 4-point ship that you got? I mean, at this point, we're looking at these need to be ships that contribute consistently in their squad. These are the pieces that you're really building around as we start getting to that 4 to 6 point section. What are you looking at here for S tier on the 4-point squad point value?
Scrolling down to make sure I'm not missing anything before I point out my S tier that I've already looked at. Yeah, I'll go with my first one I found. Sabine A-Wing, I think is extremely good. 4 points, 15 loadout. You're like, oh, 15 on A-Wing. That's just a really expensive talents and maybe a modification. No, Sabine has 2 talents, missile, torpedo, 2 modifications. Plenty of options. And there's so many ways I've tried running Sabine before or looked at running Sabine. You could do outmaneuver, hull upgrade, and you still have 5 points. So I don't know, Predator, crack shot, a missile, whatever you want. I like what I call the self-dunkable version, which is Mando optics, ion missile, advanced proton torpedo. So if you get the ion on them, you shot them in the prior round, so you had them, and then you Mando optics for the lock, and you zoom into range 1 with the advanced proton torpedoes. I think I steered away from that a little bit just because I would need the lock for the ion ion missile, which I can still get. You can do ion torpedoes, crackshot predator, and Mando optics as well. I think she has so much room. She can just take proton torpedoes. She can just take proton rockets. You can clan training in proton rockets is pretty hilarious. You just roll up to something, evade, and then if you have the chance to procket something, you just clan training the focus and shoot them with a procket. So, I definitely think Mando optics has become one of my new favorite cards from this recent wave, which includes to me both the new ships and Pride of Mandalore. And that's one I commonly will look to put on Sabine to help push her offense. But she's something that, because of her defensive capability and offensive, because she's basically Fearless and Concordia combined, if things turn to look at her, she can shrug off some pretty good damage while dealing some decent as well. But she's not enough of an offensive threat to tell people you have to go deal with her. So you do need to kit her out so where that she is dangerous if you look away from her. So outmaneuver is a good call, or just a threatening munition that has a good chance of uh, making your opponent kind of scared.
Ooh, my S tier. I'm gonna have to. Ooh, my heart's telling me to go with the Jumpmaster 5000. I'm going with Manaru. I know
That's
some
a
other.
name I have not heard.
I know another person that the loadout system really helped out. Manaru, basically unheard of when before you were paying so much for the opportunity to bring in Jumpmaster. Now, at 4 points, the cheapest Jumpmaster. Not only do you have a support ability that you can use with perfect information at the start of combat, give someone all your green tokens. In addition to that, you can get the Punishing One title for free. Big friends with Dengar, so able to fly in his specific ship. I was going to give you access to the reroll droid, which does not narrow that down. There's a bunch of reroll droids. R5P8, he says questionably. No, I have to actually look.
That's the one that allows you to reroll, spend a charge to reroll.
Yes, 3 charges when you attack to reroll. What do we say? Games are lasting 5 rounds. Maybe 4 or 5 of them are combat rounds. So that's going to give you double modification if you hold on to your green tokens for all of the important rounds of the game. In addition to being able to take overtuned modulators and suffer no penalty, being able to get a bunch of calcs and hand them off. But I've seen even recently, the extent of the loadout is that you can put the Mandalorian on Manaru. You do have to give up the Punishing One title, but you could actually even hand off reinforces to friendlies. Crazy, crazy stuff. All that, an easy way to double modify 3 attack dice, sitting on 9 health as well. Man, she's got the stats to back up that S tier, in my opinion.
I like it. Marcel, S tier, what you got?
I don't. What did I stepped away for a second? So what did you guys say?
Manaru and Sabine.
Oh, that's it. Okay, so let's see. I haven't gone all the way down yet. So far, you guys are completely not in agreement with me. But I've got the 2 4-point B wings as S tier. As long as there's trajectory simulators, bombs going forward, and the ability to get Sabine into the same list, I will continue to say that that's an amazing value for 4 points. And those 2 ships plus a third will win you 80% of your games. So that's S tier automatically. You want me to keep going, or you want me to stop? Because I got a
Go ahead. Go ahead. Give me
right,
some. I mean, I
2.
don't disagree with you on the B wings. I just hadn't gotten there yet on the list.
Okay. I also got Cannon Jarrus in the Hawk for, which is completely different than Ryan. Ryan's got a C, but I think Cannon Jarrus is an S tier for the scum, maybe an A. I might be but with the 2 force, with the ability to lower dice and 10 points and a crew slot to do stuff with the crew slot, fun stuff like coordinate and still have the force, or do that little combo wombo thing that I talked about last week, or maybe I didn't talk about it last week. Maybe I only told William about it, where you get like 1,000,000 actions with grief on him. Then the other S tier that I have was Manaru, but you guys already talked about it. I think the biggest S tier in the entire game, like if there's a triple S title, is Ahsoka in the Delta 7.
No, man.
And wait, and then there's a double S. If Ahsoka's a triple S, the double S goes into Commandant Corrin. An evade and removing the target lock every single engagement is just ridiculous. I think Commander Gorin and Ahsoka are probably the two that stand head and shoulders above everything else. Ton of other stuff though.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping nobody would say Ahsoka, but yeah, that's my
Ahsoka is just like that's
my
like
slam dunk,
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
it was, but they hadn't said it, so
When Ryan said you should
I didn't-
start with Contrail, Barris, I was like, and Ahsoka.
I didn't scroll down far enough to get to Ahsoka yet. I probably would have mentioned her first. Also, no, the Manaru one was a really good call too. I think people who are kind of don't know where to look in Scum should really look at Manaru, Ahav, and then figure it out. Your filler, your really good value, 0.3 or 4, go. Figure out the rest.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
And Nash. Don't forget Nash.
Nash.
That was
Now,
another S.
Nash is another S tier, I think, too. Goron and Nash together.
Now, just a quick note for anybody who's wanting to use this document, like there are some things that we have to update on here because you notice, like, for instance, under Sassy Tin, it's a band card, right? So we don't have the bands in here yet. We have some different things that I want to get updated on this form. So if you're looking for specific information, we'll get it on there. But if you're making a copy to like do fun stuff with, which feel free. This is for you guys. Just note that some of the information isn't complete, and the upgrades on this document are not ready for prime time. So don't even use it. It's garbage. Don't do it. Okay. All right. So those are 4 points. We talked about some of the big notables there. Now 4 points. I kind of look at it. It's the budget option for when you're looking for your mainstays. Now we're getting to 5 points. This is
So wait, Theon, you see, I know I took the Ahsoka away from you, but give me 1 4 point that you think was worth mentioning, either on the top end or the bottom end, that we did not touch.
I think if you're looking for just something to be out there and deal damage, you're looking for simple damage, Finn is never a bad idea. They've given him enough loadout points to still do what you need to be able to build the Finn you want out there with 15 loadout points. I think Finn is a great value. Not S tier necessarily. You're not building a list around Finn, but I think that's a solid A.
Okay, and I'm gonna throw one more out there that I was hoping you would call out, but you didn't. Which is the Lighten Dre? Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, Lighten. We should talk about Lighten.
Yeah, because that is
Yes.
an amazing 4 points. Ion Cannon, Lighten. Do you get Ion and Hull? Yeah, Ion.
If you
get
want to
Ion
fit,
and
if you
Hull.
want to fit a hull upgrade, you need to go Ion Cannon, Maneuver Assist.
Oh, you don't get the assault. You don't need
don't
assault.
get-
Start barrel rolling.
Not really. I mean,
No,
other
just
people have
Ion
looked at
Hull.
it.
Yeah.
It does get a sensor. People have looked at the target FCS and synced. If you want to do on the damage route, I kind of like the Ion Cannon for the control and the range 1/4 dice.
I like it.
Passive and target assist is pretty good. But
What was the loadout that why am I forgetting his
You?
name? I'm seeing his face.
Steven
Steve.
Coutinho.
Steve, yeah. Steve.
Yeah, it was the Ion Cannon hull upgrade maneuver.
Yeah, that's how I know, because he
nine health. Oof.
Yeah, he whipped me with it
With
pretty
Goron
badly.
evades.
Oh yeah. I mean, once you start mixing up Goron evades.
Yeah, I think Goron is one of the key pieces that help Lighten kind of stay on the board longer. The additional health, and you start going at Lighten, like, all right, Here's an evade on 9 health. It's just one guaranteed evade I'm going to get.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
on
can't
top of that,
proton
it's only
torpedo
4
'em.
points. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's only 4 points because if you're shooting
And-
at lightning is the one. The rest of the list is whatever's putting the actual damage out. So, it's like okay, you're killing the support, but the main thing that it's supporting, you're not focusing on.
It is crazy to me that the best brute is also the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm glad we can play a brute and be happy about it.
That might be an
I do wanna-
accident, though.
I don't think it was an accident.
I would like to throw one pilot out that I'm pretty sure not a lot of people looked at because it used to be considered the worst chassis for this pilot.
Hit us.
Oddball in the V-wing. Okay. Forget the ability. Okay. You have a torpedo slot and you have 12 points and your I-5 with boost, link, lock. Done. End of story. You have a proton torpedo I-5 that you can boost to lock into. As soon as these Jedi see a little bit of uptick in points, if we assume they might get a little nicked, watch out for that 4-point V-wing oddball with proton torpedoes.
Let's not leave out the 4-point named T-70s. The 4-point named T-70s are all really good value buys. There's especially what is it? The one that gets the free boosty guy, Psy.
That's not free boosty. That's 5 points.
Oh, there's two other ones there. Is it Psy?
At 4
it's
points,
Kai.
we have Tubbs
and Bastion,
Sai.
right?
Nope.
Nope.
No, Bastion is 5.
Bastion's
So it's
5.
Tubbs.
It's just
Sai.
Tubbs and Kai.
Okay, those two guys are A for me.
Yeah. They can both take a significant amount of upgrades too. Both can have afterburners.
Dick. Love it. So, one thing interesting I find here, I see that Ryan and Marcel, Greer used to be our golden boy, right? Why has it fallen? 4 points? Not enough?
Yeah, you can get optics and heroic, right? That's what you need to be good.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
if you want to have a
Resistance
long.
is so strapped for their points that I need actual damage output in these places, and that's where the T-70s have it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like Greer is good for a long, drawn-out battle that will plink at you and stay alive and play cagey. Ain't nobody got no time for that anymore. Like you, that's why those T-70s
Death by
went
1,000 cuts
completely
doesn't
up.
come fast enough with these RC2s anymore.
Yeah, unless you've got like, I think Merle and ZZ are the only two that are truly worth their points. Merle at 3, which can get optics and heroic, I believe, and ZZ, which can get a procket and really, lean into that alpha strike at I-5.
Love it. Love it. All right. So those are our 4 points, notable 4 points. Now we get into 5 points. This is where we 25% of your squad. If you're committing to a 5-point ship, this thing must do work for you. And I can see Marcel and Ryan are drag racing down the side of the board here. While they're doing that,
I stopped. I crashed. My formatting is off. I'm not in the center.
Will, what is your notable S tier pilots here for 5 points?
Give me a second. I could just be talking about the same pilots over and over again every single week. Let me see if I got. Ooh, I mean, I can't deny.
Do it. Just do it. Tell them.
Oh, I don't want to be boring and say Republic ship. Boring. They're all good. Turns out, spoiler alert.
Well, okay, let's use that as a talking point here, real quick. So,
Okay.
one of the reasons we're going to Republic pretty consistently is the fact that the reason we didn't do faction rankings was at least the top 2 between most of us was pretty consistent. We agree Republic is quite good, right? They have a lot for the value. So, I mean, that's It's not crazy. Not crazy to do. I understand not wanting to be boring.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be boring. I'm going to continue to talk about Sarah Sue. Sarah Sue. I alluded to it earlier. If you listened previously and didn't just skip to me talking right now about how about how 4-point M3As trash, terrible, garbage. Sarah Sue at 5 points though. Now we are talking. You get ion cannon for a 3 dice kill. You can go hull and you can go hull and shield or afterburners, depending on if you want a little bit more movement, or go to the full 6 health version. Then you get 2 points in case you want to take elusive or enduring now as well, to be able to shake off some crits, which is kind of thing a question I wanted to ask you guys, unrelated, well, very related, but unrelated to the points thing. Is enduring and a hull upgrade basically a shield upgrade?
Because you get to cancel the crit first?
Is it basically better than a shield upgrade? If
Maybe,
you only had
yeah. I mean, if you have a talent that you
talent you're not using, 6 points of
talent you're
loadout.
not using, I kind of get the reasoning behind that, because then theoretically you're getting the same amount of health, but you can end up canceling more crits than any one shield could get you.
Mm-hmm. And is the potential to get an extra action as well.
I see that too often though, but yeah, that can happen.
Proton bombs and enduring. You can proton bomb yourself and get a red focus. I didn't know that. You can though. Pretty crazy stuff. I don't know why you would do that, but hey, man.
Because I can. I have the power. I have the power.
If you want that red focus, man, you can do whatever you want. So yes, Sarah Sue, and on top of being an I5 potential, I was going to say ace, but probably not. She's more of a bruiser, but can support ships as well. Oh, give them the rerolls in addition to yourself. That is, man, just top tier for 5 points in my opinion. A 1 point difference, Dion, between a cartel spacer and a 6 health Sarah Sue. What? That doesn't make any sense. And I thought I knew. I thought I understood, Deal, but that's one of those numbers is wrong.
Mind blown. Mind blown. Well, you could take a quick look here at. I mean, one of the things that we do have in this document, if you really open it up, is what was it in 2.0 points wise? It's still like it actually, if you look at the projected cost versus what it ends up being, it's actually more expensive per percentage than it was before. But when you compare it the way you are, like a single point, that is actually quite massive. If you want that M3A chassis, and I think the biggest value comes in the fact that loadout, that 18-point loadout, is massive. It turns it into a completely different ship. So I get that. That's why, and the loadout is one of the reasons why a direct comparison to 2.0 points doesn't always work. Because the ships are not the same ships anymore. All right, Marcel, notable 5 points. Where are you at?
What did you guys say? I was trying to catch up to Ryan here.
Will had just mentioned Sarah Sue.
Oh, Will is wrong. Sarah Sue's a B. So I got. I said that with the confidence.
A babe. Sure is. She's my B.
All right. Anyway, so I put a couple down here. So obviously we've got Plo Koon. Looks like Ryan agrees with me on that one. And the number one S tier, General Grievous.
I agree.
God, oh, did I take yours?
Give me 4 of those in Separatists, and I could have so
Dion,
much fun.
Dion, you just had to go first.
You gotta go first next time. Okay?
I was ready.
We
I'm
gotta
like,
let
I got
Look,
mine.
if Marcel
more
says
S
more
tiers
than
in there.
one, he has to be the last one to say anything.
This
if he
is
starts saying
true.
a bunch of them, then we don't have anything for the rest of us.
Yeah. Just save me till the end, because I don't have a filter. Okay.
You know what?
I'm
Well,
just gonna
I'll
keep
take a
going.
moment to say I agree with you. I think Grievous for 5 points is fantastic. It's great. It's great.
Now,
You got. Go ahead.
Here's because I stole 2 of yours.
Yep.
Point for point. Now, obviously, they're different points, but point for point. Is Ahsoka better value at 4 in any faction, or is Grievous better value at 5 in any faction?
Grievous at 5.
This is a
Ahsoka
go.
doesn't have the ability to generate 3 dice in her normal arc outside of the bullseye.
Yeah, without maneuver.
What
all the
Ahsoka
extra
is
garbage.
really good at, though, is the support, basically buff and debuffer. Because she has force and because she has her ability to coordinate, and at this point, people are putting a C110P as the main upgrade on her because she can handle it extremely well on top of being an Aether Sprite, one of the best users of C110P. Chopper Astromech.
Well, I'll use that opportunity. I know that we were focusing on S tier. When you're comparing Ahsoka as a support platform at 4 versus Grievous, who is a offensive platform at 5, that's the reason why something like, I know Fenrau Sheathapede is something that hasn't been really good. When it, like, the ability in and of itself, not terrible, but when you start getting to these 5-6 point platforms, if you're not doing offensive if you don't have offensive value, I think that's when support platforms end up at almost automatically D tier. Like, you have to be contributing offensively, and I know that Fenrau can be doing coordinating, but I'm gonna go ahead and just preemptively put a D there for Fenrau. Just wanted to use that as a little bit of a pivot point. Now, Ryan, what about your S tier?
Let's see if I go back to something kind of on the realm of Will's thought. Is there anything outside of Republic anymore after General Grievous? Probably not.
Name a non-Republic good ship. That's the challenge.
Name a non-Grievous Republic ship in the 5 cost that is S tier. I don't know if there is. Sorry to say to you about your Sarasu, but
it's the best I can
I'll just
find.
say either Obi, right? Obi Ada, Obi Aether Sprite, both are great. You do crit Ada Obi, it's right there. R7A7, marksmanship, auto blasters, patience. It's all right there. Very easy. 10 points fills it out very easily. Other Obi, the Aether Sprite Obi, instinctive aim, concussion missile, and whatever else you want. After that, you're pretty solid. You basically have the attack power of a 7B, not the range 1, but if you're range 1, you're probably getting CLT. So it actually is better than the 7B range 1, mathematically. And you negate the range 3 bonus because you're using a missile. Granted, you're limited on how many charges you have, but the game lengths are shorter. So that kind of reverses itself anyway and equalizes out. Plo Koon in the Aether Sprite. Another S. Well, we're here. I'm just going to take care of the Republic ones, basically. Just get them out of the way. Plo Koon has a talent. I used to really key in on Predator for that one. So if you wanted to, you could still CLT and then re-roll that. If you didn't have a focus result, or you had maybe one force, but you had 2 focus results between the CLT and yours. But I think the more and more I play stuff with outmaneuver, I like outmaneuver as well on Plo Koon. It's more, but if you either get that outmaneuver range 1 CLT or just have an outmaneuver missile, like an outmaneuver ion missile is basically a ion torpedo.
I have 2 questions here before we leave our 5-point ships. What happened to Hera? I feel like she has
I just noted that. of like. Sorry,
Like,
go ahead.
yeah, Will, like, what happened to Hera? Like, it seems like she has quickly fallen out of favor.
When she's a quarter of your list, it doesn't look as advertising, which is crazy because people were running with proton rockets, and she was 50 something points before. It didn't seem crazy. So I think it's just in the style that we view a support ship. Before, you could get value out of dodging one extra hit. But in addition to it, I believe all of the pieces around Hera have shot up in price. Garvin, he's a 5-point X-Wing. There's so many 4-point X-Wings. Thane, Jack, Kilby. Don't need Garvin anymore. That extra 1 point meant a lot for him. What is the other one? Kyle and Hera were a match made just as much as her and Garvin. He went up to 6 points. I mean, right there, right? That's 16 points. You can only bring a 4-point filler. So instead of bringing Wedge like people used to, you have to bring Thane now. Or maybe Gina. You could probably bring Gina and be fine, right?
I'm sorry, the flavor in which you said Thane. Now you gotta bring Thane.
Hey, Thane is actually no joke at 4 points now.
I mean, at 4 points, yeah.
Value.
Yeah,
Right.
Value.
You
So
can do
good.
Hull and Crack Shot or
Yeah.
R3 Ion Torp. You got multiple choices there. Very viable.
Yeah. We didn't touch on him, but turns out X-Wings in the game of X-Wing still pretty good.
No.
But yeah, I just think her core and really the price hike between Kyle and Garvin, you can't just slot in that fourth ship so easily now, right? So I have to assume that's what it is. That was the most successful combinations, and we don't see it anymore. You know what is also 5 points? Hera B-Wing. Oh, wait, no, she's 6 points. Is she 6 points? No, she's 6 points. I
six,
apologize. Yeah. I apologize. I thought wrong.
No, you
was
tried to
in-
segue, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
No.
I think there's two.
No, me first. I'm taking it. No.
There it is.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Get him.
Good. You're learning.
There is one pilot that I am planning to bring to League Night this Wednesday when I play, just because it makes me go, I've been struggling building resistance lists lately and trying to find what is it that I really like, and the pilot that is sticking out to me is Snap Wexley, the boosting version of Snap Wexley. Okay. If you don't remember, let's go ahead and bring it up here. I just want to make sure that it's Temin is his actual name, right?
You have the Ryan stamp of approval on that one, Dion. That
There
was
it
going to
is.
be like, if no one said it, I was going to make sure it got said before we got done with the 5 points.
Initiative 4 T-70 X-Wing with all the fixings that a T-70 has. After you fully execute a speed 2 to 4 maneuver, you may perform a boost action. There you go. Vagabond said it in the chat. A free boost is the best boost. With objectives the way they are right now, being able to get that extra distance is massive. Being able to get that extra distance and have a mod, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
Dion, I personally, when I'm building my Snap, like to do either HLC or Prockets. Are you in the same boat of going for those bullseye, big hits, and then Snap can kind of use the rest of the game? The T-70 already, if you have that free boost plus focus linked to barrel roll, and you take Snap's own droid, R6D8, I believe, that can get that. It's the Super Predator, and it's on any attack, not just primary. So you get that reroll on the Procket or the HLC as well.
I have my list that I have right now has HLC on it. That's where I started, and I'm still fixing. But Temin looks tasty. Just saying, looking tasty. Now Marcel, go ahead.
All right. So I got a couple notable shout outs that I think we should just give to people so they can play
Explore.
around with. I won't give specific uh, builds for them, but obviously Magva, near and dear to my heart. Double crew option. If you need 2 crews, great option. 8 health, 2 agility, 3 attack gun. Same for Cassian Endor, but that's only 1 crew slot. So if you're looking more for the reducing stress, and you're not basically trying to Magva, if you're trying to fit Leia and Sabine, basically, if you're not fitting Leia and Sabine, Cassian is probably your better option. The other 2 that I think are notable shout outs is one is the Hawk and the Lat. 23 points of upgrades in the Republic with some of the best cruise and gunners probably the best cruise and gunner options in the game right now. So the Hawk and the Lat is definitely worth a mention. And then for the extended players, Psy in the Lambda Shuttle at 5 points is a crazy steal if you're playing extended. The Lambda Shuttle Psy.
I'm going to echo Hawk on that one. You have so many upgrade slots and so many valuable choices, as Marcel said, across the board. And not even just crew gunner. You have missiles you can take on this thing. Double missiles, by the way. I love barrage rockets on Hawk and just point the arc forward, right? That's your own double modded shot.
Mm-hmm.
It can take dedicated. The fact that dedicated got changed from non-limited to just any clone, that's huge.
Yeah,
So
that's
now you have
massive.
defensive and offensive mods. Ayla Secura is a huge potential. I mean, just so many points. You throw stuff at the wall until you find what you like. It's gonna work some way. I want to shout out Recoil in the Silencer.
I was going to shout out Recoil.
It doesn't have a ton of upgrades of loadout points, but I think it's very powerful in just sensitive controls, Predator, Sensor Scrambler. Sorry, not sensitive controls. You want the auto
Afterburners.
I was going to say, to be stressed.
You do want Sensor Scrambler though. For the 1 point, Sensor Scrambler, Predator, Ion Torpedo. That's what I would go with. Just that ion threat, but mainly you got that cloaking if you want to decloak to scream up the board, and then Recoil's range 1's really dangerous.
I was building it with advanced optics. You really think that the one time, I guess because with scenario play, you don't feel bad for just staying cloaked. You just go and get an objective, essentially.
Yeah,
Is that kind of the thought process?
If you're in a spot, because you have 2 choices. You don't have to decloak first turn, but that decloak first turn can get you very far or in different places than where your opponent can expect you to get. But say if there's like a proton torpedo Luke across from you, or anything that wants to have locks, just stay cloaked. If they come in on you, they can't lock you while you're cloaked. Now, granted, you'll have to decloak the turn they get close enough to you. But nothing's going to fire off their munitions on you unless they have instinctive aim or it's a focus-based initiative or munition.
All right. Well, any other notables for 5 points? I think we're actually going to stop at 5 today, and we'll keep it going in the future because I still want to talk about the new ship that was or the new pilot. We knew the ship was coming. That got spoiled by an international distributor, so we knew that the Rogue class was coming. But I wanted to talk about Cad Bane here. Any other notable 5 points?
I have been the speaker that about how generics are just the 4th named pilot you have to run.
Yeah.
Right. I think we don't get behind that understanding that it's named pilot first. But nothing points that out more to me than seeing Obi-Wan at 5 points in the Ada and a 10-point loadout sitting next to a Bactroid drone, the I-1 HMP with also at 5 points and 10
Wah,
loadout.
wah.
Wow, what a biggest difference in what 5 points means. Unbelievable.
Well, look at Grievous. Grievous is the same amount of points in the same
Yeah.
Yeah,
faction.
what you-
Yeah.
like you're gonna build a separatist. Grievous, HMP. Oh nope, Grievous, easy. Done.
I know. Like I said,
HMP's
we all understand
well,
that
it's-
generics shouldn't be played, but
well, it's not
they
even
have-
the generics. Almost every other named HMP is 5, except there's
That's true.
one non. There's one that's 4 points.
the oppressor, the 2 oppressors you could take, right?
Yes, they only have 7 points in loadout though.
Oof.
Yeah, and
Oof.
Dark One probe droids have taken a big downturn with the quickness the game starts.
Mm-hmm. You gotta go. No, none of this waiting around.
Oh, HMPs are having a rough time in objective play. Tell you that much.
All droids are.
Oh, what?
Look,
Oh,
give me a single. All right, bombardment drone. That's like
Bombardment
it.
drone.
All right, that's it. Every other droid is in very sad Roger mode right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about
Don't
something
forget
more
Wolf, though.
positive than
Arc
that.
170 Wolf is also just a shout out. That's it.
Ooh, that's Republic though. All Republic ships are good. In terms of,
We're in the age of the Republic, fam. That's where we are right now.
Not the torrents.
what? Oddball Torrent, 5 points, 6 F.
Oddball
Let's go.
V-wing, 4 points.
Yeah, go for the
Yeah.
V-wing.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, actually, when you compare them both together, it's a little absurd.
Like, oh wait, a
Tucker
minute.
is not that bad. I mean, it sounds funny, but Tucker's
Oh, the
not that
barrage
bad
rockets.
when Barrage Rocket Tucker. I mean,
Mhm.
that's
I wish Tucker had no loadout and was 2 points.
me too.
Ooh,
But-
hot take. Well,
Barrage
next
rockets.
season, hopefully they change out the
V19
2-point
is good.
ships.
Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Rogue class starfighter here. Let's talk about that Rogue class starfighter. Bam! If you haven't seen, we talked about this, I think by now, like a couple months ago. But we see there's going to be 2 paint jobs. You see the nice HD photos now. There should be fairly soon available for pre-order at your friendly local game store. You could also pre-order on the website, but of course, our suggestion always is buy where you play if you can. So go ahead and get those pre-orders in. And they revealed Notorious, which we've already seen, and we were a little bit sad in our personal GSP chat. They're like, "Oh, come on, you could have given us something else." But the pilot that we got here was Cad Bane. Cad Bane, the Initiative 4 Rogue class starfighter, of course, scum and villainy pilot. After you perform an attack, oh, by the way, the stats for the ship: 2 native attack dice, 2 agility, 5 hull, 2 shield, 2 charges. After you perform an attack that hits, you may spend 2 charges to transfer 1 of your non-lock red or orange tokens to the defender. My stress is your stress. My strain is your strain. And with that, if you take a look at the action bar on this thing, focus into boost, focus into roll, evade into roll, a target lock by itself, and a red boost as well. So it's really easy to get stressed.
All the links are red.
Correct. All the
Didn't
links
say
are red.
when
Sorry
the
about that.
links- Yep.
Yes. And
why,
so, go ahead.
Why the red boost?
Yeah, why would you ever boost without focus boost?
Because
In case you want to
can
buy
equip engine upgrade.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
you,
Yeah.
you can equip
It
engine
allows
upgrade,
engine
so if you
upgrade.
want to just boost and not stress yourself,
But does
because we don't
engine
know the
upgrade?
dial,
Wait, does engine upgrade work on the?
not the linked one, no.
No, it
No.
doesn't work on the.
Because
link
all
No,
engine
'cause
upgrade is it gives you a white single
Right.
boost.
It adds it. And you have to
And
have
you need
had
a
a
red
red
boost
boost
to-
to equip it.
Yeah, and there's a weird. I'm going to say it wrong, but basically the linked action isn't on your action bar, so you can't get it normally. You can't just get it because there's a red boost there. Or
And
else,
did we
like,
note the ship ability, Dion? Did you already read
yes,
that?
the
I-
ship ability.
Yes, the ship ability. It's a return. It returns dead to rights. So this was the same ability that was on the Kimogila. This is just now with standard. It is the resurgence in standard of this ability. While you perform an attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, defense dice cannot be modified using green tokens. It is important to note, though, that this is a small base ship, not a medium base ship. That generally means that you're going to be able to get this dead to rights ability more often.
With boost and barrel roll. Kimogila only had barrel roll before.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what are we looking at here, boys? What do you think? You think this is going to be a contender? I know that we don't have any information, but does it make you excited?
No, you can focus boost and then give that stress to the enemy you shoot.
As long as you
That's
hit
money.
them.
As long as you hit them, yeah.
Well, bring
Every
some
other
cluster
turn.
missiles or something like that.
Hey, do they have cannons or only missiles?
We don't know.
We don't know them.
So
What do we got canonically?
Canonically, Cad Bane's specific ship had the ability to take a larger armament of missiles and cannons. In the product description, which some people found, it is noted as a quote in there, specifically the Xanadu Blood, which is the name title of the ship, which I'm going to assume is going to be an upgrade for this, is equipped with a cloaking device and overtuned main weapons. So we could see a title that is like the Punishing one, where it adds or basically has the front arc be another whole additional attack dice, making it 3. You can see obviously a very different loadout for Cad Bane's pilot in terms of having more upgrade slots, but also just adding cloak to the action bar in some capacity, kind of like the Scimitar does with the Infiltrator.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah, I think you're looking for missile. You got the procket, so you can focus. Not the the procket on the missile. If it's a cannon, you've got the heavy laser cannon, and then of course for your primary, you're probably looking at like a crack shot or something. Again, just trying to take advantage of the bullseye and guaranteeing that damage going in. A lot of dice, middle of with the bullseye.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious what this dial is going to look like, because I think that always makes a massive difference in the value of a ship, and how, because one of the contingencies you're going to have to worry about is, at least for Cad Bane, if you're out there stressing yourself and you don't hit, you need to make sure that you can get back into the fight, right? Because I will tell you from experience, flying, Q9 and trying to be sad when you can't get rid of stress because you forget your triggers with 5 turns, that's bad. That's bad. You want to make sure that you can clear stress consistently, and I think if the dial is decent, you should be all right.
All I want to confirm is that Cad Bane is available for Separatist also. He's only available for Scum. I'm going to be angry.
Well, if we take a look at the product description, they said that there are, where I just read it, they actually said 13 ship cards. That's a lot. 13 ship cards.
It is a Scum and Separatist expansion to some regards. There may be other Scum pilots on top of being maybe mostly Separatist. We do know one of the chits that you can read that is the Separatist IG-111, who is Initiative 1, so it might have a theme of 1 across the board for that one.
Right.
It generally says on the Separatist side that the Magna Guards of General Grievous used this ship. So we're probably going to get Magna Guards maybe multi-pipped, like 2 or 3 pip or something like that as a potential pilot. Fingers crossed. I would expect Cad Bane to be available for both factions, but then someone threw at me as Jango Fett was only available for Separatists. Why wasn't it this? So then you think it should have been available for Scum in the same regard? I went, I guess touche, but Scum already gets all the extra stuff anyway. So like, just make sure he was separatist throughout almost like the entire Clone Wars. Yeah, he was hired. He's a bounty hunter, sure. So was Jango. He's in the separatist faction.
But his blood runs through the clones. I think that's why they
Wouldn't
kept
that
him
make
in.
him
Republic?
Republic?
But they were made to fight the separatists. It was all. Ask Palpatine. He got it figured out.
Clearly, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm super excited to see these ships on the table when we get them. I believe this and the clone Z95s are the last FFG designed products that we will be receiving, and then after that, we're going to see what AMG's cooking up. And I did actually want to bring up a couple of things that did happen this week, or I guess a thing that happened this week. And two things. When we published the turn and the data that we published last week and made available to the public, there were some people who asked for more. They wanted more information on that, as to like being able to compare a specific player, what list were they flying, what faction, all that. Number one, I'm almost done getting that ready, so that will be available publicly. I'm actually the links that were for last week, it's just going to be the same. I'm updating it live on that sheet. It's not going to be a new document. So the information you'll see added to that turn count / Adepticon data, you're going to get to see faction, what list it is, and it won't have the player specific name on it, but it will say like player 1 and every instance of player 1. You can go ahead and compare them that way. If people wanted to have some more granular data, you will have that. But that data was sent off to AMG. And in my email discourse with them, essentially, first they appreciated that we collected the data, and I did. While I didn't get any specifics, they were very open about the fact that hey, there's some things that we're already looking at tweaking, and I am curious to see with the data that we provided, with the feedback that the community has given, as things do shift. What are those things going to be? We have no idea. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to assume what it is. But even early on with the data that they do have, there are some shifts that are going to happen. And it's always exciting to see that even early on, that the game is consistently being developed. And they haven't just changed it and aren't looking at it from there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, friends. As for events that are coming up, I think we already shouted out the Midwest Scrub Down, the Richmond Open, which we will be at both of those. There's another one that we're going to be at, and I'm forgetting. Those are both in May. I'm not sure we have anything for June yet, and if we don't, we'll figure something out. We'll fly. We'll just get on an airplane. We'll just be like, just roll the dice and fly somewhere. Find some X-wing.
Airplane? No, we're gonna take a tour bus.
dude. Gen Con plans. I sent an email to AMG, be like, yo, what are you doing for Gen Con? And I haven't heard anything back. So here's the thing: like AMG's a bunch of different people. They're all in charge of different things. So I'm just waiting to hear back from the right person. Call a brother up, please. So I know what I'm doing with my August, and I know that there is an event. It's not ready to be announced yet, but there is an event, an in-person event, in the process of being planned. It maybe end up being an official event. At the minimum, it'll be a community event, but they're looking to do something really cool. And then we have some GSP stuff on the way. But I'm not opening up. I posted on Discord this week. I'm not opening up my idea board or anything until I finish shipping. I gotta finish it. I'm too buried to feel comfortable opening up the box. Soon. Any other shout outs you guys want to give before we call it a night, friends?
Ooh, I do have one actually. Hexiled Gaming, another X-Wing tabletop streamer.
Mm-hmm.
It has, in collaboration with a couple other people, have started up again the Kyber Cup
Mm-hmm.
Season 6. Has signups going until the end of April. I'll put a link to the doc, but they always run a great event. It's, I believe, free to sign up. Just join in, get some of Scott's amazing prizes he custom makes. Always a great time. So, Kyber Cup, it is standard. And you play a game once per week, so more of a league style, but it is bracket formatted. Them does go into from Swiss into a cut as well. So a pretty competitive event, known for the big online players coming out and joining in on it. So if you play online, Tabletop Simulator, definitely check it out.
That's right. That's right. And for people who are wondering about the Galactic Championship Series, it's coming. We're figuring out some things for you guys. We can't run it the exact same way as we did before. But soon. That'll be available soon. Ryan, anything?
Not much really. My
How's your baby?
Past 4 months last Saturday. So already a third of the way through the year. Sleeping currently. This past weekend I gave
At nighttime.
Well, I gave Sarah wanted to go meet her mom at a Frankenmuth, Michigan. Just a kind of a midway-ish point. And it was just guys' weekend. Me and Ollie took care of the little guy throughout the whole weekend. I had my family come over just to visit. But yeah, he was great.
I remember the first time I was alone with my daughter. I was scared. I was like, not scared. It was weird. It's like, I don't got backup. What if something goes wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Will? I'm sorry, Will. I was looking at Will's face. Marcel?
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. And you're in a bad spot if you say it's a compliment or not, because if you're complimenting one, then you're not complimenting the other.
No, you're both. All three of you are beautiful men that I love very much. You're all in the. You're in the same. You're in the same folder. From my perspective, right? You're in the same mental folder.
So I guess my shout out goes to I think a little bit to the community as a whole. It seems like things are starting to settle a little bit.
Simmer down.
Yeah. With the burning torches and pitchfork seems to be
Literal civil war going on.
Yeah. Like that. I mean, you still get pockets of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel as intense as it was, and hopefully, even the people that are more resistant and playing the 2.0 versus the 2.5, which admit I'm part of that group as well, and I'll probably participate in some of theirs because I still enjoy 2.0. 2.0 is a ton of fun, and I'll participate in some of their events as well. But my hope is that it's not a divorce. It's more of a you're still you're still a couple, like the people that are for 2.5 and the people that are not, and you're out doing your own personal hobbies, but you can still get together for the main events and stuff like that. So even the people that are playing the 2.0 and enjoying 2.0 more, I hope that there's like a common middle ground that we can, maybe Worlds is that middle ground. Maybe like things like Euros and Gen Con will be that middle ground where we don't lose the friends that we
Yeah.
had that are specifically in favor of one or the other. That you keep the community. It's still considered the same community versus two separate communities. Is my hope.
I get it. I mean, factionism can be a bad thing when it comes to communities, for sure. All right, everybody. Well, hopefully you are doing well. We love your face. And stay smart and stay safe. Gold Squadron.